Hello, my name is Randy Russell. If you're on my Facebook page, you probably know that. I am one of the chefs for Dinner on Main. Google Dinner on Main, really cool. Look at their videos, it's awesome stuff. I'm also, I help out at Father Patty's Irish Pub, and actually I help to the point where actually they finally gave me a title. Pat gave me the title of Chef Emeritus, so actually I like it. It kind of fits really well with what I do there. So, but one of the things I wanted to do with these videos is people are at home, you know, with the coronavirus thing, everybody is you know, social distancing. But I'm getting a lot of people asking me, you know, hey, I'm at home now, I'm cooking a lot, you know, what knives should I use? So I figured that'd be a good place for me to start on these little adventures of culinary and try to share some of my culinary knowledge with people. And so I wanted to start with knives first, and then probably make this 2 segments because knives aren't going to take that long. But kind of go into herbs and spices of what you should probably have in your kitchen. So I'm going to start with just my chef kit. These are the knives that I take with me wherever I go when I'm cooking. Not necessarily you need one of these, by the way. If you're at home, you don't need one of these. But I'm going to show you some of my knives, and I'm going to show you what basically you should have at home. Yeah, these are very sharp, by the way. My knife of choice, or brand of choice for me, is Messermeister. Justin at Father Patty's, he likes Wurstoff. Mac is another good knife blade company, or knife company. But, you know, it's really up to you. But it's really kind of personal for chefs. This is a chef knife. It's also called a French knife. More preferably as a French knife, because actually it's a French style knife. That curve right there, it's actually made for, you know, dicing and slicing when you're, you know, going like this and slicing and dicing. So that's actually a fairly large chef knife. Just a little utility knife, little fillet knife, getting into, you know, cutting around different little goodies of meat or whatever you're doing. Kind of a Santoku, if I'm saying, I'm probably not saying it right, but S-A-N-T-O-K-U, little Japanese style knife, also a Messermeister, just a utility cutting knife for veggies and stuff. Yes, I keep all of my knives in, well, most of my knives protected. Not just protect the blades, but protect my fingers. One thing we always carry around too is Band-Aids, because, you know, accidents do happen. Just another utility knife. Just, you know, just something to have. You know, little fillet knife, kind of similar to the other one I have. And this is a really cool knife too, and yes, very sharp. And actually, I do have a Wurstoff knife, and it's just a, you know, just a little paring knife, and just for, you know, doing little stuff with it. Actually, I have one of those. So that's what I usually carry with me when I go around, do special things. Or if I do a chef job somewhere, that's one I take with me. But as far as home, what you need at your house, there's really only 3 that you really need. The chef knife, a French knife or chef knife, is definitely, this one's a little bit smaller than the ones I have. I do have, yeah, I've got knives. Yeah, this is like the same one I have in there, and, you know, you can get little dinky ones, you know. This one has sentimental value to it. Actually, I'm going to be 62 in September. This is my first French knife that I got when I was 15 years old. So, actually, my last name is Russell. This is actually a Russell Dexter knife. Back then, they were called Russell Dexters for some reason. Now they're called Dexter Russells. I don't know idea what happened there. You know, for a while, they were just called Dexter. Russell left. I don't know. They took off or something. So this is one of them. You don't have to have a large one of these. An 8-inch French knife is just fine. It's a great utility knife for slicing, dicing. Pretty much that is your #1 knife in the house. Another knife to have, and this is a must have in your house, is a serrated bread knife. But it can do more than just bread. You can cut a lot of stuff with this. Actually, you should be cutting sandwiches after you've made a sandwich with this knife. You ever try to cut cut a sandwich with a dull knife? Yeah, you pretty much just smash the sandwich. So this will cut through and make your sandwich look really good. So there's two. And as far as the third knife goes, probably just a little paring knife, or a fillet knife, just a small knife like that. You'll find you'll have a lot of uses for it. I have a couple other things that I always like to keep. I have one in here. I didn't take it out, but a little spreader. These actually have a knife blade on it. Instead of spreading your peanut butter and jelly on that with a regular standard kitchen knife, your regular knife you'd have on your table, use this. It's a lot better. Great for spreading anything. Now this is probably my favorite knife. Out of all my knives, I do have a favorite, and this is actually a Dexter Russell, and actually what this is this is actually a vegetable knife. This is really cool, and these aren't really expensive. This is like, I think, $12 for this one. I think I bought actually all the chefs at Father Patty's. I bought them one because I like it so much. They're really cool. So that's one of my go-tos. I do have some other ones. I mean, that's another vegetable knife, but actually I don't even know if I've even used that one yet or not. But you can get weird. I found this at IKEA years ago. I don't know. It's probably like 20 years ago. And it was a serrated bread knife, but you hold it kind of backwards. It's kind of weird, but it's actually really cool. I mean, it's great if you're, getting into a fight or something, I guess. But so that's pretty much it as far as your standard knives go. There is one, and I'm going to show you right now. That is a scimitar. That is Justin from Father Patty's Irish Pub. Yes, that thing is menacing. Now, if you're going to really get into cutting, big meats, like if you're going to do a big rib roast, or you're cutting ribeye steaks, that's what you use. That's the knife you use, and it looks menacing. So, but if you have one of these at home, I'm dropping everything. If you have one of these at home, you most likely have enough knives you need. It comes with a chef knife. This one's actually not a bad set. You can get a really good set, like just a real good set is about $100. You really want to look for, thickness of the blade. Something that's really hold up. Brand names really on this kind of helps. This one comes with steak knives. You really don't need steak knives unless you really, if you need steak knives, and I guess you do. But it comes with everything. It comes with a serrated bread knife, and it comes with utility knives and pretty much everything. This one actually comes with a cleaver too. So if if you need to be cutting into something, we're going through bone or something like that. It also comes with, and these are not scissors, by the way. They look like scissors. These are kitchen shears. Very handy when you're cutting into a chicken or something like that. You need to cut through that stuff. This is what you use. And we're going to do that one of these days. I'll do a chicken, cutting up how to cut up a chicken properly. There's some things I'm going to do eventually down the road. Somebody already asked me if I would do an omelet. I want to keep these things very basic, and for people, if you want something intricate, hey, you're on my Facebook page. Just text me or email me or send me a message on Facebook or whatever, and we can do it that way. Next, I want to do is I'm going to talk about spices. Wait a second. I do want to go back to knives for a quick second. Now, if you do want to go You want something, you know what, I want to get something a little bit more. I'm going to start doing barbecues. I want to start doing a lot of this other stuff. I want to start cooking more. You know, where can I go? Where can I go? There's 3 places that I go in Sacramento. There's more, but if you want a restaurant quality blade, and you don't have to go expensive. You know, I've got a blade in here. It's $150. You know, there's Justin Worstops. They're about $150. You really don't need to go that high. Russell Dexter knives. They're great restaurant utility knife. They're $40, $50. I mean, you know, but they're still a great knife. But Cresco on Richards Boulevard in Sacramento is a great place. East Bay Restaurant Supply, they're right around the corner on North 12th. Or there's Trimark, which is on Richards Boulevard, really closer to I-5. Trimark's probably our go-to, only because I like that store because it's well organized, and you know, everything there, the people there are extremely knowledgeable. You know, great place. So, but one thing is probably what's wrong if you do have knives at home, they're probably dull, and you really got to keep your knives sharp. And one of the things that most knife sets you want to come with this, this is actually a sharpening steel. And what a sharpening steel does, it's to me it's kind of it's not really sharpening. It's not taking a dull blade and sharpening it, but actually technically it's taking a dull blade and straightening it out. Let me explain. This is your knife edge, nice and straight. Well, as you're cutting and as you're using it and everything, what that knife blade edge starts doing is curling over. And that's where you get the dull blade. Now, eventually, it'll curl over to the point where it's just, you need to sharpen the blade. And so, but before you do that, or after, when it gets to that point, yeah, take it to Rayleigh's or whatever. There's a lot of places that sharpen blades for free. Rayleigh's is one of them. But use your sharpening steel. And how this thing works is I do the 10, 5, 2, 1. And what that means is I do 10 this way, and you want to keep the blade, you know, not completely flat. You want to get it at an angle, because I really don't know what the angle of this blade is. I actually have a sharpener that I can run my blades over. It actually has a dial on it. I can dial in a blade edge if I want to change the blade edge. It's really kind of cool. So, but I do 10. What I do is I do 10 this way. I do 10 this way. I do 5 this way, and 5, and 2, and 1, and 1. Nice and sharp. Matter of fact, it's very sharp. So that's what that does. If you're wondering how that works, it's called a sharpening steel, and it basically straightens your blade out. A sharpener, you probably, if you have an electric can opener, most of those actually had a sharpener on the back of it. Actually, I have one. Hold on a second. Get my cord. Okay. Yeah, I'm lazy, you know. But it actually has a sharpener back here where you actually run your blade through. Terrible, don't use it. Just get the hand sharpener, run it across, you're fine. You're fine. You don't need that. You don't need anything special. So, next I want to talk about spices and herbs and spices. So I'll be right back. Well, you guys don't know, but I actually took a little break between the knives and what's next. And in between that time, I also did a whiskey tasting, virtual whiskey tasting with Father Patty's, with 3 different bourbons. So yeah, I'm feeling good right now. So, but I'm going to go back to a little bit about the knives, because now that I've thought about it, there's a few things that I kind of just skipped over. So why is one of my knives here? Let's just grab, this one for example. Why is that basically $300, almost $150 for that knife? And This whole set is probably $70, but we'll go with that. So even if they were the same size, they're not. This one's a little bit bigger, but if you look at it this way here, you can see there's definitely a bigger size difference. Weight. This has a lot of weight to it. It has a good feel in my hand. This one here, yeah, it's kind of smaller, really lightweight. And that's really the big difference between when you're talking about a commercial knife, say a knife that you'd use in a commercial kitchen versus a knife that you'd use at home. This is a workhorse. I mean, this is meant to be used daily, hours on end, every day, where this is not. I mean, in a commercial kitchen, I would use this probably in one day more than you'd probably use one of these in one month. And so, they go through a lot of abuse, so there's that, so that's the reason why. And then the metal, even the metal on these is denser. It's just a better grade metal, than these knives here. Nothing bad about these. They're great. They're good for what they do. For a regular house, if you're just doing regular cooking, these are fine. There's nothing wrong with these at all. When you want to really get into heavy duty stuff, you really got to go to something like that. So that's really wanted to say. I wanted to add on to that about knives. If you really want to get into, hey, I want to bet something better, but get something that feels good in your hand. One thing we talk about is when I hand somebody my, oh, hey, let me see your knife, and the first thing they say is, wow, that's got a really good balance, because it's got to feel good in your hand, especially if you're something you're going to be doing all day. You don't want to be tired from just cutting, but that's really what it is. It's got to feel good in your hand, and that's the main thing. So our next thing is what I'm going to talk about is spices. Herbs and spices you should have in your house. Most likely you already do. But start off with garlic powder. Garlic powder goes in everything. I mean, it's one of those versatile things. Another thing you should have, cinnamon. Not just for cinnamon toast. You can put it, there's a lot of things you can use it for. Probably, I'm going to go to this one. Nutmeg. Nutmeg goes in a lot of things, but these are the actual whole nutmegs. Okay? Julia Child, freshness counts. Freshness is what makes food taste good. So whole. I'll talk about those, how to make those into something else later, okay? We'll set those aside. Cayenne pepper. It's my go-to. Whenever I make any comfort food, you want to add that little bit of warmth, because comfort food kind of it's something that makes you feel warm. I add a little bit of cayenne pepper to a lot of things, even spaghetti sauce. I'll add a little bit of cayenne pepper to it, not a lot, just a little bit, and it's just that warming you get. It's just a great feel. You don't get that hotness like a habanero or jalapeno or even something like that, or ghost pepper, but you get that little bit of warmth. Not a lot of spice, but you get that warmth out of it. So that's why I love cayenne pepper. Ground cumin is another one. Onion powder, it's a great one to have. This is really a great one to have. I use it a lot. I use it for a lot of things. Italian seasoning. It's got oregano in there. It's got, all your Italian spices. I mean, everything's in here. It's just a great mix for stuff. I use that in everything. Now, red pepper flakes for spicing up something. You want a little bit of spice in it. That's great. It's definitely a go-to to have. I was going to say salt and pepper, but it's really kosher salt. If you're not using kosher salt when you're cooking, you need to. Table salt is not going to cut it. So, what's kosher salt look like when you go into the store to buy it? So what kosher salt looks like when you buy it in the store, looks like this. So, kosher salt, better than table salt. Now, whole peppercorns, okay? Not pepper, not the stuff that comes in little things that look like this you put on your table. This is great for your table. Okay, good. But grind your own pepper. Cannot stress that enough. Great thing to do. The taste you'll get out of this is a lot better than this, believe me. And once you do this, you'll never go back. So, pepper grinders. You see them in the restaurants. The guys going, hey, would you like pepper on your salad? Okay, there you go. Reason, because it tastes so good. So you can get one of these. Heck, they even have electric ones. Really cool. Okay, so you can have one for salt. But if you have like one of the little things for drink mixes and stuff like that, the bullets, those are great. You can chop up your peppercorns that way, grind them up. Coffee mills works great for that. So one thing I wanted to do about spices and herbs and spices is sometimes you can get a little overboard, and everybody needs a hobby. And yeah, I had a hobby, and yeah, pretty much anything you can imagine as far as the herb and the spice I've got. So, like I said, everybody needs a hobby. Porcini mushroom sea salt. There you go. Texas rub. That's really good on stuff. Bird's eye chili powder. Pretty much everything you can imagine. Dried parsley. Tarragon. White pepper. By the way, in sauces and gravies, use white pepper. Don't use black pepper, by the way. You get those little specks in there. You don't want that. This is amazing stuff. This is it's a little expensive, but it's really good, especially on potatoes and stuff. Especially if you have like a baked potato. White truffle salt is really, really good. Oh yeah, celery salt, ground cardamom, ground sage, rosemary leaves, dry basil, you name it. I've got it in here. Like I said, it was a hobby at one time, and I end up with a whole bunch. And this is actually one of 2 bins that I have. So everybody has a hobby. So hopefully I passed a little information on. That's all I wanted to do, and be somewhat helpful in this time that we're all at home doing nothing. So. If there is something you want to show me, or you want me to show you, or teach you something, hey, you get on Facebook, message me, whatever. You can do it. I'm going to post this on Facebook. You can message me or put it right on there. Something you'd like to do, something you want. Hey, I want to know how to do this, or whatever. I have no problem. I can fit that into a show somewhere, and accommodate you that way. That's fine. So, but yeah, like I said, any questions, there you go. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you at least learned something. So, thank you. Bye.